Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Josh, partner Rachel. And this is Boots and Brews podcast. This is our second round, and yeah, we actually we're still trying to figure out how to edit the last video because I'm definitely not computer literate. So, but I was trying to
literate or savvy.
And that's what I meant to say. Whoops.
Was I literate? I don't think was the right term.
You know what I meant. That's all that matters.
Just to give you guys a heads up, it is 8:30 in the morning. We've been up for about half an hour.
I haven't even had the first sip of my coffee.
I was about to say his coffee's sitting in front of him, and I can guarantee you he's probably going to take one, maybe two sips of it this entire podcast before he forgets that it's sitting directly in front of him.
You know what? I'm gonna drink half of it just because you said that, just to piss you off. Anyway, so yeah, we're still trying to figure out. I had to talk to one of my friends about doing the program
you didn't
thing.
Close the door, did you?
Damn it, Willow.
Because she's gonna knock that over.
Yep, we got puppies in the house. They might end up hopping on the podcast here and there, but this one I kind of forgot to shut the door, but whatever. Anyway, so we got a timer now. We bought a kitchen timer. Hey, get out of there.
Yeah, just let her go.
And yeah, so we're trying to set a timer so that way we can kind of time a little bit better, because the last one was almost an hour long. Not that an hour is too long, but to some people, most people have the attention span of a squirrel, like myself. And I know some people don't like long ass videos, so I'm trying to shorten it a hair. And you want to join? You got something to say? No? Silent?
No, you're just happy to be here.
Yeah. This is Will, everybody. Say hi. Ruff. Say hi. Ruff, ruff.
She doesn't bark. You know that.
I know. You want to not like my mic? So yeah. What's
No, you just stay right there, baby.
What do we want to talk about today?
So, I think looking at the date, good thing to talk about is motorcycles coming back out in Massachusetts or New England.
Excited.
He's super excited. Oh my gosh, Willow's going to drive him nuts because she wants to come between the two of us.
Yep. No, you're going to stay right here.
So, like I said, looking at the date, yesterday marks the 1-year anniversary of us getting into a pretty bad motorcycle accident. Because people weren't aware. It was a nice day last year around this time too. I'm
supposed to be trying to be professional right now, and you're not helping.
So,
we are far from professional.
We're very far from professional. So figured, why not a better time to start talking about what happened and how to avoid it and how to be more aware of everyone around you. And this isn't just for motorcycles.
I mean, this is just generally speaking.
General. It's not, well, like, I guess what I was trying to say, it's not like saying like, oh, cars need to pay more attention to the bikes around them, but like the bikes also do need to pay attention to the cars and the traffic around them too, because there are idiotic bike riders too.
You get a number of, I'd say 2 or 3 different types of drivers, and that includes motorcycle riders, because I obviously, like she just said, I ride myself. I've been riding off and on for years, and I've actually gotten hit a couple times, and the last one, she was actually on it, which was
I got most of the hit.
Yeah. Getting hit by yourself is one thing. Getting hit when you have a passenger, that's a nightmare. I guess I gotta silence my phone because it's morning and my shit's gonna blow up now. I'm working on it.
You are a mess.
It's morning. I haven't had my coffee, and this one's giving me a facial bath. I don't have food. What do you want? Just affection? Damn it. I love you too. Yeah. Okay. And yeah. So when it comes to this, is also I'm passionate about most of the subjects that we're going to be talking about, and I definitely am going to get into it. But this one is probably one of the bigger serious ones, because this could be a life or death situation. It's not just hey, I can fix this problem. No, you get hit and you're dead. You're done. Like
Mm-hmm.
people on the road need to pay the fuck attention. And I get it. Like I've been in multiple situations where like I've had to avoid getting hit. It actually just happened recently down the street because it's this is technically not even motorcycle season yet, but up in with like the weather that's been happening.
Told you she was determined to get over here.
I know with the weather that's happening and stuff like that, everyone's like excited because you hit that first day of like 50, 60 degrees, and everyone's like, yes, I want to take the bike out because it's been since when did we put the bike away? In November?
I think so.
About November, which is still
we put it away late.
I mean, I always put away all my vehicles, my summer vehicles away kind of late because it's just like I don't
Well, we
I
also
want to be
had
able
a
to
very
use them.
warm October.
Right. And for people who are passionate about their summer vehicles, it's like it sucks putting them away. So we try to hold off as long as we can. I mean, some people technically don't even put them away, which to me, it's why, for one, with the salt on the ground, because yes, we live in New England and you're rotting everything out. But that's just a different subject for another story with that. Um, as far as riding goes, it is probably one of the most funnest things that I've done. I was a big car guy, and I was in the heavy in the car scene forever. And then I got involved in motorcycles, and I kind of never turned back. I still am heavy into cars and stuff, but um, yeah, motorcycles are definitely something I'm very passionate about. And the one thing that you want to do is, as much as you're having fun, you gotta your head's got to be on a swivel 360 degrees because you have a lot of ignorant drivers and I said ignorant, didn't I? Yeah. I caught myself. You have a lot of ignorant drivers and they don't pay the fuck attention. Like, pay attention. How hard is get off your damn phone and pay attention. Like, just because it's wintertime and the bikes are gone does not mean that you're like, oh, I don't have to pay attention. No, you jackass. You still have to pay attention because there's other people on the road, and that's how accidents happen.
But at the same time, like, it's just because it's winter, the people that don't put their bikes away in the winter, it could be because that's their only mode of transportation too. Like, they might not have a choice. Oh, now you're getting.
And it's far and few that they ride up here, but there are some people. I have a couple friends that their bikes were their daily driver, so like they would be riding when it's 20, 30 degrees outside, which sucks for them, especially where people are like, oh, well, no one's riding right now, so I don't have to pay attention. Well, you're going to get that one time, and then you're going to end up hitting them.
Yep.
And then it's going to be completely your fault, whatever the case is. Now, going back on kind of like the other end, yes, there are a lot of asshole
I was just about to say there's a lot. So coming from someone who is now a more recent, I don't want to say like, I guess I am kind of like a passenger princess on the motorcycle because like I don't have my license yet. But I've only been on the bike for how long? I've known you for almost 2 years now.
Yeah.
It's not like this is a new thing for me. So coming to a point from seeing the motorcycles on the road and having that like stigma,
the feel of actually getting on it.
No, like the stigma of like, oh well, like all the bikers are such reckless and obnoxious drivers. It's like, no, they're like, yes, don't get me wrong, there are a bunch of riders out there that give the good riders a bad name.
And I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of an asshole sometimes.
You can be, but I didn't realize this until the other day, right? So my best friend Lindsay was in the car with me, and we were following Josh because he was on the motorcycle, and I was, we were leaving an event of teaching line dancing. So I was trying to follow Josh, and I had Lindsay up in the front seat with me, and I try to keep a close-ish distance so I can see what Josh is doing in front of me when I'm following him, so that so I can also see the cars around him. So if someone's going to be an asshole, I can try to get the asshole away from him. Like I can see because I can see more than he can from behind. But it came to a point where like Lindsay saw this before I did. She actually saw someone cut off the truck that was in front of Josh, and she immediately goes, "Oh no, 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 no!" Seeing the truck was going to slam on his brakes, and Josh is like like 2 car lengths behind. And then Josh goes into like what is called like a weave or a rocking pattern in your lane where you just kind of go side to side to side. And she was like, "Why is he going from side to side to side?" I was like, "Well, it's an easier and more natural way to slow the bike down because of the surface area of the tire." Sometimes he'll do it when he's bored too, or like when he has an open lane and it's just a straight shot. Like he'll just kind of like glide like side to side. But it also does naturally slow the bike down a little bit easier so that you're not slamming on your brakes and falling forward, sliding or flipping forward. Just because of laws of motion, right? And she was like, "Oh, that makes so much more sense." She goes, "I was wondering why a lot of bikers did that in like higher traffic situations." I was like, "It just naturally slows the bike down, but it keeps the bike moving so that it has a direction to go." Because 2 wheels versus 4 wheels, 2 wheels kind of need to keep going. 4 wheels, like, yeah, you can stop and just sit there. 2 wheels, you got to keep it semi moving, or you got to put your feet down. So
Yeah, there's no just dead stop. You do that dead stop and you're dropping the bike.
So just a fair warning, like sometimes the motions that they're doing on the bike is for their safety and yours.
Especially when you see people, there's going off of kind of the weaving too. Like, so there are 2 different types of riders. I will fully admit that I am both.
Oh,
And
I'm sorry. I wasn't explaining the weaving between lanes. I was in the same lane, just like the rocking back and forth.
no, I know, but
Okay.
but that weaving also brings on to the next weaving.
I wanted to make sure that was clear because
Yep.
I didn't even think that there were 2 different.
Yep. No, there's 2 different types of weaving. There's weaving in the lane, and then there's weaving in and out of the lanes.
What I said, did that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
For the most part.
I just wanted to.
Honestly, I didn't really notice that I even did it. I think it's just a natural thing.
It's a natural reaction for you, but that's why I'm like, I can at least give that perspective of what you do to avoid those situations.
Right.
Because you've been doing it for so long, you just do it out of habit.
Right.
Where I'm still new to this, so I'm like, oh, cool. Like, this makes sense.
Yep.
So.
But, yeah, no, there's definitely, like we said from the beginning, and we'll continue to say it, there are 2 different types of riders. There are people that are just riding to ride and minding their own business, and then you have a lot of the asshole riders.
Who are doing it to like show off.
Or doing it to show off, whatever the case is. And you want to know something? I'm a very aggressive rider for 2 reasons. One, it's fun. I will 100% admit it is fun. It's being aggressive on a vehicle, especially 2 wheels, is a blast in the right setting. Number 2, the one thing that I have learned over the years, and I have told people too, because you get into that deep conversation on like, oh, well, every biker is an asshole rider. The majority of them probably are. But let me ask you something. Why do you think? And they're like, I don't know, because you're just on 2 wheels. You can do what you want. I'm like, fair enough. That's a pretty good, relatable answer. But there's another reason. And they're like, okay, what's that? I'm like, to avoid assholes like you who don't know how to drive around us. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, in order for you to avoid a situation, you have to drive like an asshole. Because if you're just going to drive in a straight lane, someone brake checks you or hops into the lane, and you don't know how to throw around that bike and yourself, and mind you, depending on the bike that you're on,
it's not light.
They're not light at all. I have a bunch of Harleys, and they're like the average is like
the one he
800?
dailies is a touring Harley, and they're like what 950 pounds.
They're like 800 to 1,000 pounds, give or take. Like I don't know. I'm going off of whatever people tell me. I've never actually weighed the bike. Probably Google it. Who knows?
What do you think I'm doing?
I'm gonna Google it. Yep. But regardless, they're not light. It takes like 3-4 people, 5 people just to pick the thing up if you want to like move it around. It is not a light bike. And trying to come from just sitting here riding and then trying to throw the bike so that way we get out of your way.
Your daily is 852 pounds.
There you go.
Dry weight in running order 889.
889.
Yep.
Yeah. So 900-pound bike. 900 pounds, which when you're riding, you don't feel it. Well, let me rephrase that. When you're riding straight, you don't feel it. When you're trying to maneuver and then stopping, you feel that weight. So if you don't have upper body strength and or leg strength, you're probably dumping it.
But in perspective, like that's just the weight of the bike. That's not like if you have
a passenger.
It's not your weight, your body weight, your passenger's body weight, plus if you have the bags on and you have stuff in the bags, like that adds, you're looking close to probably 950 to 1,000 pounds
Oh yeah,
of,
easily.
or over of
Yeah.
what you're trying to maneuver.
So trying to take that into perspective of something that you're throwing around in the streets, we'll just hypothetically say it's about 1,000 pounds. Okay. And you're someone who's driving, and then you're driving around a bike, and then something happens.
So say like with our weight plus like some additional weight
Yep.
in the bags, your bike with both of us on it is almost 1,300 pounds.
I mean,
Anywhere between 1,200 and 1,300. I gave it a range.
you get used to the weight, so you can't even just like really tell anymore. But like it's not light at all. It is not light. And trying to throw that around, especially around someone who is not paying attention and either cuts you off or decides to stop short or whatever the case is, and then we have to stop short, and then we have to stop with all that weight. That's the reason why we slide. We don't have 4 tires. We have 2 tires, and it goes the amount of tread that's actually on the street is probably about the size of this mic, to be honest with you.
Mhm.
That's how much tread is actually grabbing the street. Now you lock up your brakes. We're not stopping.
And mind
We're
you,
sliding.
these bikes are not all-wheel drive either. Like they
For those of you who don't understand bikes,
like the brake is like it's what? It starts on the rear and then goes to the front, right? The main brake is on the back.
No, it's 70-30. So
70 on the front?
70% of your braking is on your front. It's the same with cars too,
Okay.
just so you know.
I don't.
So any vehicle,
Okay.
no matter what it is, 70% of your braking's on the front, 30% on the rear.
Okay.
Because you need that stopping power in the front, because if you had all the weight in the back, you're just going to lock up your tires everywhere.
Yeah. So talking about the brakes, and I am now realizing like, hey, look, I actually have something that can relate to this. Remember when you were on a bike as a kid, like your regular like pedal bike, and you use the brakes on the handles? Because that's where the brakes are on a motorcycle. They're on the handles.
Mm-hmm.
But your regular bicycle, you go and pull the brakes on the handles. Where did most of your brake power go? To that front tire. And if you pulled that brake too fast and too hard, you felt that back tire come up. You felt like you were going to go over. And some people do, especially when they're learning how to ride a bicycle. It's the same idea on a motorcycle, just a hell of a lot of a bigger scale and a lot more weight.
Mm-hmm.
Ow.
But the biggest rule of thumb that we tell people, if you have the ability to do it, because not every biker gives you the ability to do it, because honestly some people just try to avoid cars in general, which is one of the other reasons why we kind of just like weave in and out of traffic, because it's fun to ride like that. I will 100% admit it, but we're also trying to avoid you. So if we're coming up on you quick and we're like, hey, I want to stay away from this person, we're going to probably drive, like you said, like an asshole around you. And it might not even be because we're trying to be an asshole. It's I'm trying to avoid being near you because I don't know what kind of driver you are. I can't trust you. I don't know you. So if you're going to just lock up your brakes for no reason, because guess what? There's a lot of idiots on the road that do that. I was just driving the other day. Someone was in front of me. It wasn't in my bike, but it was like just driving my car. And someone decided to just randomly hit their brakes going uphill, mind you. And there was nobody in front of them. I think the car that was in front of them was like 6 car lengths in front. So there was no reason for them to hit the brakes. What did they do? They hit their brakes to slow down. And then it wasn't just a tap. It was just like a elongated hit brake. And I'm like, why? Why are you doing this? So imagine someone doing that, but now you're on a bike where you're throwing around 1,000 pounds, whatever, and someone decides to just hit their brake because I don't know, maybe like you drop something down on the floor and you're trying to pick it up, so you hit the brake by accident, or just out of habit you hit the brake, whatever. Well, are you looking behind you before you do that? Probably not.
Are you checking your blind spots? Probably not.
Yep.
But like at the same time, like you also have to think like when you're going to merge, to triple check, to at least double check your blind spot, because bikes are typically going to be in your blind spot. Bikers don't ride down the center of the lane typically. They will take one lane or the other. They will go to one line or the other, either the inside or the outside.
So in the motorcycle world of riding, you guys have 2 lanes, we have 4. So when it comes to, or I should say, you guys have a single lane, we have 2 lanes, because most of the time we don't end up riding in the center unless we're by ourselves. But if you guys
And
notice,
even then,
we
you
do like
still
two
don't.
and two, right? Like especially when it comes to a stop, you'll see us kind of like veer off to the side. It's also kind of one of those things where if you have someone behind us and they're tailgating us, which number one, don't ever do that. Do not tailgate. If we know, even if we know you, do not tailgate, because there's going to be that one mistake, you're not paying attention, and then you literally slam into the back of us. Most
Not gonna
people,
lie, the other day I was like, how much do you think Josh would kill? Like, I'm talking to Lindsay. I was like, how much do you think Josh would kill me if I like came up to like the red light, like slightly not paying attention because I wasn't in my car? Like, it was it was my mom's car. I was like, what if I just like gently tap the back of his bike? I was like, I think he'd kill me. Like, give him like a little love tap on the, like, completely accidental. I didn't do it. I promise, I didn't do it. But like, I got within like probably half a car's length. And I was like, shit. Um,
yeah. So give us bikers our space, please. I beg of you. It is very crucial, because you have a shell around you. We do not. We fall off that bike. That's it. The only shell that we have is the clothes on our back, and most people don't dress to ride, because yes, there is a way to dress to ride. I'll be the first person to tell you, I am overly brave, and I don't dress, or I should say, you're supposed to. Technically, the term is actually dress for the slide.
dress for the slide. Yeah.
Dress for the ride, dress for the slide, same thing. But it's just dressing for the slide because it means something can happen. You can go down, or dressing for the ride is basically like between the weather, potentially getting hit, going down, whatever the case is. I ride in a t-shirt. I'm not going to stop riding in a t-shirt, but I know my limits. But that just because I know my limits doesn't mean the person that is riding or driving around me, or even riding around me, knows their limits, because they don't care. They're like, oh well, it's just another biker, or like whatever. They're not going to pay attention, and then you get hit, and then guess what? You're all messed up.
Yep.
It sucks. Luckily, every time I've gotten hit, it's actually been kind of cold weather, so I was actually dressed for it, and I only kind of got scraped up a little bit. Thank God.
You typically have at least a sweatshirt on. You don't. You very rarely ride in a t-shirt unless it's like
Unless
95
it's
degrees out.
very very hot out.
Yeah. But so going back to like the whole like where the bikes sit on the lanes, right?
Oh yeah. Yep.
If you're at a stop sign, right? Or a stop sign, stoplight, traffic light, whatever you want to call it, or even a yield, you're checking your side mirrors the most. You're very rarely checking that
Rear view.
your rear view mirror, the one that gets directly behind you, right? You're checking more of those side mirrors. The bike is trying to put themselves in your mirror so that you can see them, because if they are directly behind you in the center of that lane and you're only checking your mirrors, you don't see them behind you. And yes, I get it. Like, you're in front of them, like, oh, what am I gonna, like, how is that gonna make a difference to me? It's like, no, it's still understanding that they're behind you so that you don't do that, like, oh, I'm gonna go, oh, just kidding. Like, bikers have to be like 3 steps ahead of y'all. Because they know how much harder it is for their bike to stop. They know that you guys, they're trained to know that you guys aren't paying attention. You guys aren't looking for them.
And that's sad, but it's the truth.
But at the same time, it's the same idea thinking about it. Like, if you have someone in a, like, on a regular bicycle on the side of the road, because there's those rules of the share the road. Like, bicycle, like, if in my town, so like in our town that we live in, I don't know if you know this. I don't think I actually told you. Bicyclists, if you are above the age of 18, have to ride on the road. They cannot ride their bicycle on the sidewalk if you are an adult.
Huh.
The sidewalks are for walkers. There's that little, they can ride in the bike lane on the road, but you cannot ride your bike on the sidewalk, and you have to wear a helmet because you are on the road. So it's the whole, it's again, it's like, just in that aspect, like, you're looking for a bicyclist. Why aren't you looking for a motorcyclist? Just because it has a motor on it? Just because they're going faster, they're going the same speed as you? Like, what's the...
Yeah, I had one guy.
You know what I mean? Like, what's the difference?
It was on the main road, and I was coming up kind of quick because like there was nobody in front of me, and they pulled out of the gas station, or they were attempting to pull out of the gas station. I'm pretty sure they even saw me too. I could have sworn, because they stopped to look. Maybe they didn't stop to look at me, but maybe they stopped to look at their phone, and then they decided to pull out, whatever. But they literally cut me off. They literally cut me off, and so I had to maneuver basically completely around them, and it was just like this why. Like if you're gonna pull out, at least pull out like you already see me like go. This like they literally hesitated until I was coming up to them and then decided to cut me off. And I'm just like, dude,
The
like
hesitation is really it's like, oh, I'm gonna go. No, I'm not. Yeah, yeah, I am. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. No, I'm not. Like, pick. It's bad for your car. It's bad for everyone around you. There's a very high chance that you're gonna get yourself rear-ended if you start to go and then you slam on your brakes and another car is behind you and they're like, oh, cool, they're going.
well,
Just
the
kidding.
biggest thing that I've learned is people don't think about this because they're like, oh, it's not gonna happen to me.
Yes.
It's not gonna happen to me attitude, and then we're gonna have this conversation. They're gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna really focus, and they're gonna get in the car and they're gonna completely forget about it
Mm-hmm.
because it's never happened. Well, yes, let me explain something to you. That first time that happens, you're going to get PTSD from it. You're going to regret not paying attention to it. And then you're going to have that in the back of your head. And you're going to be like, I should have listened. I should have been paying more attention. I should have focused because now you're going to have to live with that basically for the rest of your life, especially if that person ends up getting killed. Injury is one thing. It still sucks, but killing someone over it, you don't want that. You trust me. You don't want to deal with that.
So going back to like getting into the accident, right? Like from a passenger's standpoint, I had a bunch of people that were like, "Oh, so you're not going to get back on the bike, are you?" And I go,
Yeah,
"Why wouldn't I?"
that was the first
That
question.
was for one, I knew the risk I was taking getting on a bike. But it's the same risk getting into like yes, the risk is higher on a bike because you don't have that shell around you and you're on two wheels versus four. But it's the same risk of getting into any form of transportation, a car, an airplane, a train. Like we've seen how many issues with airplanes have been going on lately, like the freaking door blowing off the Alaska airline. But did you not know about that?
No, which is
Oh,
why I'm staring at you like, what are you talking
yeah,
about?
no, that happened about a month ago. A door, like the emergency door, like ripped off the plane up in the air.
Oh, nice.
Um, but
Anyway,
it's the risk that you take in it, trusting anyone else with your life. But number two, I trust my rider. I trust him with my life. And he would do anything he could to keep me out of danger, and I know that. Um, like, yeah, sure, on the back of the bike, I can't do anything about it. But he's gonna protect me, and I know he is. If you don't trust your rider, if you don't trust who you're getting into any vehicle with, don't.
yeah, no, that is definitely a big thing because I've talked to some women and they like I know some damn good riders, like damn good riders. And unfortunately, I hate to say this, but almost all of them have got hit. I think my first accident that I got into, it was a nice, gorgeous day, and
Speaking of, we should follow up with Josh, see how he's doing.
I got hit on I think it was a Thursday, and then come to find out because like I didn't talk to the group for a little while, there was an accident between the group on one person. It was I think Tuesday, Wednesday. I think maybe
I
Wednesday
think
was
you said
two
there
of
were
them.
two on
There
multiple
was
days.
there was yeah there was about four accidents between the group. So one of them got hit Tuesday. I think two of them got hit Wednesday. I don't remember which one it was, but one of them got life flighted. And I got hit on Thursday, and then I had told the group because I like posted it like, oh hey, like a bunch of assholes like whatever hit me, and they're like, oh you got hit too? Are you fucking serious? They're like, what do you mean I got hit too? They're like, oh yeah, we have three of our groups that got hit Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then now you're Thursday, and I'm like, are you fucking serious? They're like, yep, they all got hit by cars, and I'm like,
So, just another way, really quickly before we wrap this up for today. Another thing I want to mention is bikers will they'll rev that engine, right? Like
oh
they'll rev
yeah,
it to make it louder, and you're like, oh, they're just trying to be cool. No, they're
no.
trying to get your attention. They're trying to make you realize, hey, I'm here. I'm smaller than you. Please don't hit me. I'm right behind you. I'm to your right. I'm to your left. Like I'm coming up. Like please, please, please realize I'm here.
So a biker's horn, just FYI, sounds very stupid for one. It is not that loud. It is not
A lot
loud
of people do
at all,
replace them with like a train horn.
which I'm tempted to do. But out of habit, yes, we love the sound of our engine. So yes, we're going to sit there and rev it. But it's not just because of the sound of it. There's been so many times where I've seen a car about to pull out and I just lay on it.
Yep.
And then I see him hesitate, like, oh, okay, I didn't see you or I wasn't paying attention. And that alone has saved me from getting hit probably a dozen times.
So like them revving their engine isn't just, again, as like your stereotypical, like everyone going, oh, they're just being an asshole, they're just trying to like show off. Like, no, they're really not. They are doing this to protect themselves, protect their riders, protect you, protect their bike, protect your car. Like, it is
there's a reason why I believe that one of the laws in our state, if I would actually have to look it up, but underglow on your car here is illegal because it's for many different reasons, but one of the biggest reasons that
in
are
this
well
state.
known, it's like an impersonation of like an emergency vehicle. Bikers are allowed to do whatever they want to their bikes because it avoids everything. They can put lights on it, loud exhaust, like loud stereo system. Everything that is noisy and distracting grabs attention to you to
The
see
tint
us.
doesn't matter on bikes because there isn't a need for it.
Well, there's no need for tint because
Exactly.
we
That's
only
what I'm
have
saying.
a
Like,
windshield.
it's the one thing that people who
I
have
mean, we
cars,
technically do have a tinted windshield too, but
like
yeah.
the level of tint
Right.
doesn't matter because they
y-
can still see you. They can
yeah.
see everything on a bike.
They're I think I have one that's basically pitch black. Like you can't even see through it. But yeah, no, bikers are allowed to basically have whatever they want on their bike because anything that is going to draw attention to you to say, hey, I see you, I'm going to avoid you.
So just on that standpoint, before we end this, because we're already over that 30-minute mark, thank you guys, and please start being aware on the road. The weather's getting nicer.
You're going to start gradually seeing more and more
They're
bikes.
going to start coming out. The second that it hits 40, 45 degrees, they're going to be out there. We've had plenty of rain, so the salt is gone.
Yep. That's my biggest thing. I won't drive my car or ride my bike until the salt is gone, and we've already.
When he's talking about his car, he's talking about his Mustang. He's not talking about his daily.
Yeah. My nice vehicles. So as soon as the salt is gone, that's it. I'm taking them out.
But so please be aware. Please be hands-free while you're driving. Put your phone in a stand if you have to use it. Do not text and drive. Please try to avoid like putting your makeup on or brushing your teeth while you're driving. I don't care if you are going to be late for work and you're like, oh, well, I have to look pretty. No, you fucking don't.
And just a fair warning too. Like I know a lot of people like to do like bumper to bumper and do like what we call a push, as far as like push the vehicle. A, never do that to a motorcycle, and B, if you do that to the wrong person, I promise you're gonna regret it.
Yep. So there are bikers out there that have what are called bike whips. They are there for the bikers' protection because if you guys are getting too close and driving like assholes to them, they are not there to be used regularly. They are there for an emergency situation only. Take that into consideration. If you don't know what it is, please go look it up. I'm not going to sit here and have a 5-minute conversation about it, but please be aware. It's not just the...
Imagine someone doing that to you. What would your reaction be? Put yourself in their shoes.
Well, I'm not even going to go... Well, that works too, but at the same time, that biker, I don't care how much of an asshole rider you think they are. One, they're either doing it for their own protection, but two, they have a family they're going home to just like you do.
Yeah, just because they're an asshole rider doesn't mean that they don't deserve to still be here with us.
So take that in consideration, and see you guys in a week.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.